All right, I'm jumping in on this project here. This is my old Ford. It's a 1-ton truck. I want to build it up a little bit so it fits my needs a little better. And I've already started a little bit yesterday. I kind of got into a groove and I didn't film any of it. So anyways, bring you up to speed. Basically, I bought a 100-gallon fuel tank with a toolbox built into it. And I'm building a headache rack, and I'll have a fuel tank, toolbox, and headache rack so I can store stuff. And I wanted to custom build my headache rack because everything I saw, you know, it just like 1/8 inch or maybe 3/16, maybe if you're lucky and you pay high dollar for it. This is all quarter. Got 4x4 1/4 inch angle iron. I think this is 8 foot or just shy of 8 foot. And basically all I did was I got 2 pieces of 4x4, one here, one on that side. This is a 1/4 inch thick angle iron, 2x2, and it just sits on the headache rack in the front. I welded it together on the corners, and then my plan is I've got these tubing here. This is 2x2 square tubing, 1/4 inch wall, and these are 2 foot long. I may trim them down a little bit, we'll see. But my plan is I got 6 of them, so I've got enough to do 1 on each corner, and then 2 in the middle, I should say. So right where the window, there's a split window forward, I got basically 4 of them vertical here. And then I've got a longer piece of 2x2 right there, and that's going to be the top on top of those 4 verticals. And then I've got 6 of the short ones, so then I'll have a 45, you know, coming off from here down to here on both sides, and that'll just be for a gusset to make it strong. Yeah, and then once I get that done, welded in place, I do have over here, I've got some nice expanded metal, raised expanded metal there. It's not the heaviest of duty, but it should work good enough for what I'm trying to do. Basically, I want to just make it so like a brush or something. You know, I don't know what it would necessarily be needed for, but basically cover at least the 2 side windows there and there, and then maybe leave the center open. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. I'll get there when I get there, but yeah, once I get that done, I want to put the tank in the front, and I got some rubber under the metal here, so it's not metal on metal all the way around. And then I got some more rubber I'm hoping is enough for the tank, because I don't want to set it on the bed just as is. I want to have at least a little bit of rubber underneath of it, you know, and then bolt it down. Then I got a pump for it and a meter and all that good stuff, so then I can use that. Yeah, but I mean, these are pretty hefty here, and I'd like to build it up. You know, I don't know if I'll do straight vertical like this, or if I'm gonna, you know, put an angle on it to match the cab. I'm not 100% for sure yet. So, but yeah, that brings you up to speed. I'm not gonna film, you know, in welding it all together. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. But I'll weld the verticals, and I'll get it all tacked into place and mock it up, and then I'll bring you back for that. Kind of show you what I came up with and how it worked. So hopefully it should be pretty nice when it's done. And then, you know, it'll be a nice truck. So, oh, and the last thing, towards the end, I've got, I don't know if you can see these or not, but yeah, can you see that? I got some D-rings, smaller ones, and the plan, I got 6 of them. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm going to weld them on that 4x4 just for strapping stuff down. I think I'll do probably 3 on each side, you know, before the you get to the fuel tank, because the back here I've got it set up to where you can still put a full-size pallet in there, and that's kind of important because I do have a fold-over gooseneck on here, so I don't want to stop myself from being able to pull the gooseneck trailer. But anyways, enough jabbing. Let's build the verticals and get going on that, and then I'll bring you back when I've got something to show. I'm not done with the headache rack and this build here, but I just wanted to jump in and show it to you, a progress update, because this looks pretty cool, I think. So I've got most of the work done. I ended up not doing a curve here. I went straight up and down. It just looked nicer, in my opinion, more that square, rugged look. But yeah, I put a nice gusset here. Got some expanded metal. I ended up leaving the center one empty. I feel like just in case I want to go through that window for something. I don't know. You never know. I can always fill it in later. But yeah, I think this turned out really nice. I got the fuel tank's not bolted down yet, but it's just sitting in there. I want to do, my next step is going to be, I've got 6 of these, and I'm going to put them evenly spaced, 3 on each side, in order to have some nice tie down points on the bed. You know, 3 on that rail, 3 on this rail, and then I'll have a nice clean bed here. I get some rubber yet for underneath this fuel tank. Bolt that down. I got my 5th wheel free and clear yet, and plenty of room to put a full-size pallet in. And then yeah, I think she's turned out really nice. So that'll probably be the end of this build once I get that all done, and I'll show you when it's done. But I definitely, next part, I probably want to put lights on the top of that headache rack. I think that'd be awesome to shine into the bed for hooking up trailers or whatever. And then I do have a strobe light for the top of the cab. I may put that on, I may not, I don't know. So that'll probably be it for the back part. The next part, which won't be in this video, I want to build running boards that go from way up front like it is, because I hate these Laverne ones. I'm not a fan. That goes from there all the way to the back here, and it's going to be lower, and it's going to have the same aesthetic as that. Heavy steel. It's not going to be bolted to the cab. It's going to be bolted to the frame, and it's going to be lower because I have big feet and I can never get my feet in there. But the idea being, A, to get in the cab easier, and B, have a step all the way back here so that you can step up to look in here, because toolbox. Do that for both sides, and then eventually I want to do a custom front bumper on this old girl and a custom rear bumper. I think that'd look awesome. Get a paint job one day, she's gonna look like a nice truck. It's a 97 F350 with the 7.3 power stroke. It's got a little over 300,000 miles, but I just put an engine in it, so it's gonna have a long life yet, because eventually we got to get a lot of that fixed too. But she is a work truck. She's made to work. So let me finish everything and get it all buttoned up, throw a little paint on that headache rack, and I'm gonna drill some holes yet to bolt it down to the bed frame, and then we'll bring you back for the final update. So I'm not sure where I left off on this truck, but I wanted to do a final walkthrough on it and show kind of what it ended up being. I know I was explaining kind of how I was going to build that roll cage. It's not really a roll cage, it's just a kind of a cool looking deal with a rub rail on the back. But anyways, basically, yeah, I put it all together, 1/4-inch wall tubing, and it's just welded solid. And then this is some leftover expanded metal that I had, and I didn't fill the middle one because I didn't quite have enough, and that way if you ever needed to access the split window, you could. But I put all that together. It's bolted down in 3 spots: front, middle, and rear. And what I ended up doing was put some D-rings on it, and this is just 1/4 by 4-inch angle iron is all it is. So 4 inches here, 4 inches there, 1/4 inch thick. I welded 3 D-rings on it, front, middle, and back there. on both sides, and then she's bolted down. I do have a plate on the underside here, just some leftover 3/16 or 1/4 inch plate that I had, so it's got a little bit more of a bite. And yeah, so then there's nice rub rails, so you can hit this here pretty hard. I do have rubber in between on this, and then the front has got 2" by 2" 1/4 inch angle with some rubber in it, and it's welded solid there to the top part here, the 1/4 inch wall tubing. I left the ends open here because I want to drill holes on both sides and be able to put a bolt through there for a light. I want to eventually put a couple lights on top, flying backwards here so you can see. And I got this little side here has got some oil, coolant, and a couple of grade 70 chains, just because you never know when you need them. And then obviously it's a fuel tank, so I've got the fill here, the pump over there. Kind of giving the tour on it, but just a basic pump with a hose and some swivels. She's stuck down in there. The next thing obviously was the toolbox. So I've got this guy here, which is just a magnetic deal for screwdrivers and cans. So I got brake clean, PV blaster, and starting fluid, the 3 things I use probably more than anything else. And then you can just snag that and walk off with it. The toolbox, which I've got locked here, but what I'll do here is I'm going to unlock the toolbox, and then I'll show you the ladder rack, or the step, I guess you should say, that I put on here, and then we'll do a quick walkthrough of the toolbox. So I put a cheap ladder, aluminum ladder, on this truck, and just self taps into the tailgate. It folds up pretty straightforward, you know. It sits on here, a couple straps. It's like 40 bucks. I did change, I added some of these, that way if you wanted to adjust the height you could, and then if something were to happen and you wanted to take it off completely, you can do the same there. But this just makes it easy. That's why you got this here. Makes it easy here to get up in here. A couple shovels and a broom, nothing crazy. And then in my toolbox, which I'm not going to drag too much out, but basically I went to the old Hobo Freight and I bought a bunch of tools. I'm still waiting on 2 more wrench rolls for these. I like wrench rolls because you roll them up and they're tight and they get in some small places. But bought me some basics, hammers, things like that. But down here I've got, these are the long wrenches, and they just roll up nicely. I got 2 more of them coming for them over there. So I got SAE metric, and they fit nicely. Down there is a, which you can't really see it, but that roll there is a punch and chisel kit. So all kinds of punches, chisels, tapers, that kind of stuff. So keeps it pretty organized. Down there I've got a little torch, the Icon, we want to call it like a Swedish pipe wrench, a couple breaker bars, or pry bars, and a breaker bar. Got a tire repair kit, a funnel, big sledge, mechanics wipes, pig's blanket, some glass cleaner, some rubber gloves and rags, and some blue shop towels. I added these, which these are nice for working on stuff. They're magnetic, so you just pull them off, put them on the machine. You can throw bolts and stuff in there. Like I said, I'm waiting for some more wrench rolls for these. When I was there, I bought some basic, you know, cotter pins, linch pins, hitch clips, some solder shrink, heat shrink, PTO pin stuff. Pretty basic assortment of stuff. And this guy is a nice little roll that I bought. Has a surprising amount of stuff in it, but basically I got just pouches in it, and it's just picks and hooks. This has got some scrapers in there for like gasket scrapers, screwdrivers, a couple different pliers, a couple different vice grips. Pretty basic stuff. You can actually hold a lot in here, nothing crazy. But these, I bought the Doyle brand ones, and honestly I'm liking these so far. Nice little duck bills. Just your basic assortment of tools, and a nice little pouch. You can just roll it up, carry it, and away you go. In these two boxes, which are not complete yet, and there's also a little bit of room in there for a machete, just in case you get some weeds or thistles to cut down. But these are the modular stuff, so you can lock them on the sides here. But let me drag these out and I'll show you what's in them. Okay, so the bottom here has just got pig mat on it, which is kind of nice, just so things don't get sliding around too much. But first drawer here has got just your basic assortment of Pittsburgh stuff. That's nothing fancy, but these are done. Short, deep, 3/8, quarter, half-inch, nothing special. A couple of basic Allens, and I bought these, which I love this little tool here, if I can get it open. Just your simple Icon little bit driver deal. These are super handy for dashes, kind of reasonable too. But these Bauer boxes come with these, which are little containers, kind of nice. Swivels and extensions, adapters, that kind of stuff. Got some the long ones, the long socket style here, and then I got a few odds and ends ratcheting wrenches, nothing too carried away. And then like I said, the 3/8, half-inch, quarter, and some extensions. Nothing crazy, but basic assortment, enough to get you going side of the road. So these modular boxes, they lock in together. It's kind of nice, but they you can fit 2 of them in this box, which is pretty sweet. So rubber gloves, zip ties, just some hose cutoffs, couple hammers, couple pry bars, couple clamps, wire wheel, bolt cutters, crescent, and then I'm actually going to put this wire in there. So yeah, that's it for the basic tour. I mean, it's a nice little setup for phase 1 anyway, to get in here and work on stuff. And this is a 100-gallon tank. I don't know if you can see that or not, but like 900 bucks, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So far I'm liking it. I wish it was a little bit further this way, just because I could have a little bit more storage space without interfering with the fenders or the wheel wells, and then it won't stop my fifth wheel. I got a fifth wheel in here for pulling trailers. So hopefully this helps somebody think about what they want on their truck as far as building something. Like I said, a couple lights would go really a nice addition. This ladder here I like a lot, super handy. The only thing else I got in here is, didn't have room in the toolbox, but got some 1-inch straps, a wheel, a couple 2-inch straps, and in that box is a 30-foot 0-gauge jumper cable. In this box I got a hitch for the D-ring for getting pulled out in the back if you need it, some regular shackles, and then I bought some J-hooks with some chain on them, so if you ever need to pull the front, you can. And then of course, to go somewhere, you got to have the emergency TP. If anybody does any mechanic work in the field, they know what I'm talking about. So yeah, hopefully that helps give ideas and help somebody build their own. So it's a nice little setup, nothing fancy. The old square body Ford's pulling it no problem. So you got fuel, tools, and basics. The only thing I'm going to add on this box is I want to get a set of the either the jumbo wrenches or possibly the Harbor Freight's got the little hydraulic wrench kit, which are the little stubbies with no box on it. It's just an open-end wrench for getting down in tight places, because hydraulic lines are kind of the big one for me that I need to do. So some bigger wrenches would be nice, but we'll get by to start with. So that's it for phase 1. Hopefully next winter I can get to phase 2, and my big goal for that one is I want to build running boards, replace those Lavernes, which I hate, and get some custom built ones. And it's probably going to be something like this, where you got some tubing and some expanded metal, and then it comes down a little further and bolts up into the frame with some D-rings or something cool. So if you ever get stuck, you can just hook onto the frame and give her a pull sideways. So super cool setup. Hopefully it gives guys ideas. And sorry I didn't video more of it, but kind of in a pinch in time. So hopefully it helps, and thanks for watching.